Good evening and welcome to Office Hours. I'm your host. I read mainstream science and engineering news while talking about how to become an engineer in industry. You can watch Office Hours live here on YouTube. You can now watch Office Hours on Rumble, and you can follow me at EngineerIDE on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter. Please like, share, and subscribe because it feeds the AI algorithm. And lastly, if you have comments and or questions, I invite you to post those down below, no matter what platform you're on, YouTube, Rumble, or X. So thanks again for being here tonight. Thanks for returning. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. My goal as an industry engineer is to share my experiences to those who are interested in becoming engineers, and to share those experiences with people who might be interested in engineering. Maybe you think engineering isn't something that's accessible to you. Well, I'm here to provide that accessibility. So please do ask questions. I enjoy answering questions. I'm not right about everything, but I will find out. And tonight, we're going to be diving into Amazon. So here's our article for the evening. Actually, as you can see, I have a bunch of tabs open. So we're going to be going through a few different articles tonight. This is going to be our primary article, but as you'll hear in the media, generally it's doomsday. Again, that's their business model. You're going to hear a lot about just layoffs, 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 layoffs. That's what feeds the AI algorithm. But here I'm going to give you more of an overall broad view of Amazon. A little later, we'll get into where it's been and how much the company has grown. And the company is probably going to continue to grow, and they're probably going to continue to hire people. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you that they are hiring people. They're hiring a lot of people. So it's going to be more of a balanced look at Amazon. All right. So here's our article for this evening. Amazon trials humanoid robots to free up staff. This article is written by Shiona McCollum and Chris Valance, technology reporters. And of course, as you see, this is a very recent article. This came out a few days ago. There's our Skynet replacement right there. And we're going to be watching this video here in a little bit. So Amazon is trialing humanoid robots in its U.S. warehouses, in the latest sign of the tech giant automating more of its operations. The article begins, as Amazon said the move was about freeing employees up to better deliver for our customers. It said it was testing a new robot called Digit, which has arms and legs and can move, grasp, and handle items in a similar fashion to a human. A union said Amazon had been treating, and here's a quote, been treating their workers like robots for years. Now, I don't know if that's true from that perspective. Everyone has their own perspectives when they're in industry. Obviously, not everyone's happy with their circumstances or their job, and a lot of people are. So it just depends on who you talk to. That's the perspective you're gonna get. Uh, how does Amazon treat its employees? From what I've heard, pretty good. But I haven't heard that in the news. I've heard that from other people who have worked for Amazon. So the article continues with a quote, Amazon automation is a headfirst race to job losses. We've already seen hundreds of jobs disappear to it in fulfillment centers. And we're going to get to fulfillment centers here in a little bit. But as you'll see, maybe I might be stealing my thunder a little bit. Amazon continues to hire jobs or people for fulfillment centers. And that doesn't look like that's going to go down anytime soon. So while Amazon is continuing to allocate its resources or its profits back into the company for research and development into computers, or rather into robots, it's still hiring employees. So the article continues, as the announcement was made, Amazon said its robotic systems had in fact helped create hundreds of thousands of new jobs within its operations. That's probably true. It's also true that they've been laying people off. So then the question is, well, what's going on? They're laying people off and they're hiring people. Well, that's probably the reality for large companies like this. As I mentioned in my in Monday's podcast or Monday's live podcast, uh, companies will adapt to market forces. And so, what do I mean by market forces? Well, the economy changes. The business model changes, the demand changes, technology changes. So those would be market forces, right? These are variables that are constantly changing. If you have a background in economics, this is something that's uh, very salient to you. Another word for salient would be it's something that you know of really well. So the article continues with the quote, this includes 700 categories of new job types in skilled roles, which didn't exist within the company beforehand, the firm said. Yeah, I bet and we will look at an article later or a graph. And when Amazon started, when Amazon started, it was just an online bookstore. That's all it was. Um, with just a few employees. It was Jeff and his wife and a few other people in the garage, and that's how the company started. And today, Amazon has, I think, 1.5 million employees. So it's grown significantly in the last 3 decades, obviously. And with that, and so it started off as a book, as an online book company where they would ship books to customers. Now there are parts of it that are technologically advanced, right? Within Amazon, it has a full market itself. And by full market, meaning that there are businesses that will go online and they will sell books. I buy a lot of books from Amazon, so I see this. These companies are competing for prices, right? So they whoever has the lowest price. So the way I look at it is whoever has the lowest price for the nicest book, that's the book I'm going to buy. But that market causes everyone to tend towards that behavior. All of the sellers, right? And then as buyers, we get to choose, and that's, I would argue, that's actually making the world a better place, right? So you get a better product for cheaper. Um, that's what Amazon. That's partially what Amazon has become. Um, so the article continues. According to the tech giant, it now has more than 750,000 robots working collaboratively with its human staff, often being used to take on highly repetitive tasks. Yeah, if something's repetitive and you can build a robot to replace that, at a lower cost as a business, that's what you're going to do. But that doesn't necessarily mean well, let me put it this way: that job might go away, but now that you have robots, you need to hire more people to take care of those robots. Especially if the robot was built internally, you're going to need a lot more people to run that robot. So over the long term, that might be financially uh, advantageous for a company, not necessarily in the short term, but in the long term it would be. But nonetheless, the point is that people are not people, rather, uh, the company the the company is going to hire people, right? Piece of technology takes over. Okay, so that job now can be done by a robot, but now you have a bunch of other jobs that have popped up around it that need to support that robot. That's usually what happens a lot. All right, so the article continues. Amazon robotics chief technologist Ty Brady told reporters at a media briefing in Seattle that people were irreplaceable and disputed the suggestion that the company could have fully automated warehouses in the future. I for the foreseeable future, I would agree with that. Now, maybe a couple hundred years from now, maybe. I just don't see that. The more technology advances, the more integrated the market becomes, the more integrated companies become. I know in Hollywood, it gets a lot of people in the seats to watch movies when Skynet totally takes over, and but that's Hollywood. That's television. That's very far away from what these companies are doing, or the type of technology they have access to. And by the way, Amazon has access to some of the most sophisticated technology out there in the marketplace. They have access to it. Uh, all right. So the article quotes here: "There's not any part of me that thinks that would ever be a reality," he said. Yeah, I mostly agree with that. He can. continues, people are so central to the fulfillment process, the ability to think at a higher level, the ability to diagnose problems. Yeah, and that's the case. If you have inside knowledge of fulfillment centers, and by fulfillment process or fulfillment centers, what they mean is a warehouse. So inside an Amazon warehouse, you do have some technology. Each warehouse is a little bit different, but you're going to have a mix of technology and people, and you're going to have a lot of people. And there are jobs right now that only people can do. They have tried. Uh, so I'll give you, for example, at a fulfillment center, they have what's called sort side and see red side or return side, where people return clothes. And those jobs, although they may have a conveyor belt that will push items through to various to a destination, and those items will then be taken by people, by human beings, and they'll be put into designated areas, and those people interact with technology in order to get those items to the correct area. So, and then over on CRED side, there's a similar process, but from the point that the item comes into the store, that it goes through a processor and then gets reprocessed back out of the facility to go to another destination. There are no robots involved in that, and they've tried to build robots and tested those robots to see if they could compete with the human being, and it's just not possible. You have to be able to build the robots, and the robots have to be as efficient at the same cost, or more efficient at a lower cost, in order to replace the human being. And right now, it's not even close. We'll watch the video in a little bit. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh once I see that video. It's like, there's no way. There's just no way it's going to happen. That's what I'm betting. And I haven't seen the video yet, but it's going to be impressive for a project. But as far as like something that they can put out in the market, probably not. It's probably not going to happen. So, legs, not wheels. Rather than using wheels to move, Digit walks on two legs. It also has arms that pick up and move packages, containers, customer orders, and objects. Scott Dresser of Amazon Robotics told the BBC this allowed it to deal with steps and stairs or places in our facility where we need to move up and down. But he said the robot was a prototype, and the trial was about seeing whether it could work safely with human employees. Okay, so what they're saying is that these robots aren't going to replace people. They would work with people, right? But in order to work with people, they have to be as efficient and cost the same, or they have to be more efficient and cost less than the person, or else it's just not worth Amazon's time. Remember, at the end of the day, Amazon has to get the product to the customer in the time frame they said they were, which is usually 24 hours, 2 days, 3 days, whenever it is. They have to do that, and it's a very impressive system. Nobody else can match it. Article quotes, "It's an experiment that we're running to learn a little bit more about how we can use mobile robots and manipulators in our environment here at Amazon." All right. So Amazon's testing. They're testing. That's what they're doing. They're testing. They're gonna see where this goes. Right. Again, they're a large company. They have a lot of revenue. They've generated a lot of profit, and so they're going to reinvest that profit into technology. As an engineer, as a scientist, that's what you can expect. That's what you can expect in the marketplace when you work for your company. Successful companies do this. So they'll put research and development into a product, and they'll go through the requirements phase, which is an exploration phase, a discovery phase. Then they'll get into the design of the product. Then they'll develop the product. Then they'll test the product. Then they'll deploy the product, and then they'll maintain the product. That is in software engineering, that would be the software development process. But there are similar processes within hardware engineering. I use hardware as like mechanical, software, systems engineering, so on and so forth. All right, so Mr. Dresser suggested that the fears over human jobs being replaced didn't match what had been or what had happened at Amazon. And I quote him here. Our experience has been these new technologies actually create jobs. They allow us to grow and expand. And we've seen multiple examples of this through the robots that we have today. Then the quote goes further here. They don't always run, unfortunately, and we need people to repair them. Again, he said, again, so this is what I'm saying. Now that they have robots in the mix, now they need people to to repair the robot to keep them running. Right. So the robot may have replaced a job, but now they need more jobs in order to keep the robots going. So it isn't a one for one. That's not what's happening here. The robots aren't just going to come in and replace everyone. That's not a thing. That's really good for clicks. If you're on Twitter and you say stuff like this, yeah, you're going to get a lot of clicks. Everyone's going to go Skynet, Skynet, Skynet. But that's just not how it works in the real world. So, article continues here. Amazon has ramped up its use of robots in recent years as pressure has grown to cut costs. Yeah, they're cutting costs, but they're cutting costs because that's what businesses do. They're trying to optimize their system as a business. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to optimize their company. They're trying to lower costs, increase revenues, and that's how you get profits. Um, if you're a computer science, software engineering, mechanical engineering, if you're an engineering student or engineering adjacent student, IT in college, and you have time, try starting a business. Write out a business plan. Once you do, even if your business doesn't succeed, which it probably won't because most businesses fail, this will be a really good exercise in learning about the business side of a business, right? Um, this will give you an opportunity to expand your horizons and it'll add a valuable skill set to your engineering skill set. It's done absolutely wonders for me because when they talk about this stuff, I understand it. I know what's going on. Like in the last live podcast on Monday, I got into this a little bit, uh, and so I would I would suggest this. I would strongly advise it. And of course, if your business ends up taking off and you become a millionaire, don't forget me. All right. So the article ends. Last year, it announced it was trialing a giant robotic arm that can pick up items. It already uses wheeled robots to move goods around its warehouses, and it has started using drones for delivery into U.S. states. Okay. This is just going to add to the business, right? Again, it might take away some jobs, but it's going to add a lot more jobs. So let's watch this little video and see what's going on here. All right. That took the robot 17 seconds. It would have taken a person about 3 seconds. And at 3 seconds while being safe too. So that shows you, okay, so let's watch this again. Let's watch this again. Let's watch this again. All right. All right, let's time this. All right. Pretty cool. It's cool. It's cool. All right. Well, there you go. So, about 17 seconds. How much time do you think it would take a person to do that? Maybe 3, 4 seconds. So what's that? Four times this robot. Yeah, I mean, it's an impressive start, but they still have a ways to go before they would even start replacing people. And another thing about the development process is it takes a long time. It actually takes a while to get a product to market, and it always takes longer than the estimation. Always. Never less. Never, 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 never. That's not a thing. It always takes longer. So let's say they want to deploy these robots in 2 years. It'll probably take 3 years. It's going to take longer. So let's see how Amazon's doing in the market. So this is from Yahoo Finance. Amazon reported its third quarter earnings on Thursday, beating expectations on net sales and EPS, but missing out on its cloud revenue. Its shares climbed by as much as 5% in after-hours trading, with gains dissipating, then shooting back up after the company's earning calls. Artificial intelligence was the star of the call. CEO Jassy told analysts that AI represents an opportunity worth tens of billions for Amazon's cloud business, Amazon Web Services. Yes, that's true. AI is worth a lot of money. AI is going to be worth a lot of money because AI can do a lot of things. AI doesn't just take your data from Facebook and Google and places like that. AI does a lot of other things as well. So, like I was alluding to before, AI is as an advanced tool. I think I call it an advanced calculator. Probably wasn't fair to call it that. I might have been using a little bit of hyperbole, but nonetheless, it's a valuable and important tool. Now, will it do what a lot of people in the media portray it to do? Like it'll take all the jobs and put everyone out of work and things like that? No, no, it won't do that. It's just going to be another tool that engineers need to learn. That's what it's going to be. So this article continues. This year, AWS launched its Bedrock AI service, which streamlines the development of large language models. You're familiar with the large language model? That's ChatGPT. There you go. Our generative AI business is growing very, very quickly, said Jassy. In September, Amazon invested 1.25 billion in OpenAI competitor Anthropic. The investment could go up to 4 billion over time. Yeah, they're investing billions into it because they know they're going to make billions from it. It's going to change their business model. Like I said before, companies adapt and they change their business models. They don't stay the same. Facebook is not the same company that it started. Facebook is not the same company today as when it started. Ford is not the same company today as when it started in the early 20th century. They have become different companies. Uh, Companies change because markets change, technology changes. Companies need to acquire that technology, develop their own technology, and compete in the market. But they do this. They provide us with products and services that actually make our lives better. So it's a win-win. Everyone benefits from this. All right. So our article from Yahoo Finance continues. AI could provide the growth spurt that AWS is looking for. In Q3, quarter three, the division fell slightly short of analysts' net sales expectations, coming in at 23 billion, or about 23 billion, against a 23.13 billion Wall Street expected. All right, so it came in at 23.06 billion against a 23.13 billion Wall Street expected. I probably should have read that entire sentence out, because when you get into billions, that's actually kind of a lot of money between those two numbers. So it didn't. All right. So that's a lot of money. Could have been a little bit. Maybe it was expected to be a little bit more, but that's still a lot of money. All right. So article continues. However, there were silver linings as AWS sales were up 12% year over year. AWS, Amazon Web Services, and the division's operating income is also on the upswing, coming in at 7 billion, a roughly 29% increase from last year. That 12% growth is just enough to keep the goblins away. Jefferies analyst Brent Thill wrote on Thursday after earnings. Now you say, EngineerIDE, why are you talking about finance? Right? This goes back to what I talked about before uh, on Monday. When you're an engineer and you're developing a product, how do you know the product makes sense? Like the article talked last week about the article making sense. And by the way, you can go to Engineer IDE on YouTube and you can find that article. That's article from Monday, and you could go to Rumble and find that article as well. I believe that is episode 0001 because I'm an ninja zeros. So you have the product. How do you know the product makes sense? Well, it's making money. That's how you know the product makes sense. And since it's making money, that means you're going to have your job, right? You want to know. What do you want to know? You want to know if that product made money before you came on. Let's say there was a predecessor product. It made money, and oh, or rather, excuse me, the product before made money. The product now is making money, and are the projections that the product will make money in the future? Yeah, if demand is up, right? You should know that as an engineer. Is the product that you're building what does the demand look like in the marketplace? Yeah. How much let me let me pose the question this way. Ask yourself the question, how much market share does my product have? Right? If you're selling, let's say you're an engineer for Tesla and you're a software engineer and you're designing displays for the Tesla. It doesn't matter which car, but any of them, right? And then you find out, okay, my Tesla, um, I'm the one who designs the displays. Now, how much market share does my vehicle have as an electric car versus all of the other electric vehicles in the market, right? Let's say it's 75%. So your product has 75% market share. You're going to have a job for a long time. That's what you want to look for. That's why this stuff is important. Learning about the business and financial side. You don't have to go to school to be for business or finance. You just have to do a little bit of extra homework to teach yourself about this stuff. Okay. So we continue with the article. It's been a week of mixed cloud results. On Tuesday, Microsoft reported better than anticipated growth in its Azure cloud business, while Alphabet's cloud growth numbers disappointed. All right. So in the market, there are three major cloud competitors: AWS, Microsoft, and uh, Google. All right. So AWS has the most market share, but Microsoft and Google are coming up. Now, these are companies that use software infrastructure. Last week, I kind of went over, I referred to software architect or software infrastructure as a good place to go as an engineer, right? There's going to be a lot of work for you in the coming years. And so AWS is ahead right now and ahead by a lot. But Microsoft and Google, that's where they want to go. And since they want to go there, they're going to invest a lot of money and they're going to hire a lot of people. And another thing to think about, um, the United States isn't the only market. Uh, as countries develop, more and more people in those countries are going to start using these technologies. And that's a good thing. That's job security for you. All right, so we'll continue here. AWS growth has been under a microscope this year, and it's a subject that has been, in the article quotes here, getting the most airtime with investors. JP Morgan's Doug Anmuth wrote before earnings. In a call with media on Thursday, Amazon CFO, Chief Financial Officer Brian Olsavsky said that he doesn't believe AWS growth has stalled completely, instead characterizing the cloud business as in a delicate transition. That could be true. Excuse me. Uh, yeah, okay. I mean, even if it's flat, even if AWS's growth is flat right now, I mean, It's flat. I don't see AWS going down. It's just too valuable a technology for people. Uh, the company's the company's slowing down its cost-cutting moves as it looks to serve more customers and increasingly monetize its services. All right, so here's Amazon's cloud growth falls short of estimates in Q3. Yeah, so let's see here. Net sales by business segment quarterly. So here just North America 69 billion, international 28 billion, AWS 18 billion. So, and of course, this can kind of fluctuates a little bit, but it's a lot of money either way. It seems to be pretty consistent between North America and, international. So, into billions of dollars. All right, so this article gets into some additional earnings data. You can kind of see here. Let's see. So they say currently analyst recommendations for Amazon come out to 63 buys, 2 holds, and 0 sales. All right, so they're going to get into some additional stuff here. I will when this live podcast is over, I will post these links below so you can go through them yourselves. All right, so what's going on what other things going on with Amazon here? So Amazon continues Hawaii expansion. According to Hawaii News Now, Amazon continues Hawaii expansion with 415 million investment, 500 new jobs for residents. All right, so again, Amazon's expanding. It's investing. Uh, it's not just here locally in the 48 states, but it's expanding. Here it's Hawaii. They are hiring people. So what are we hearing? They're just laying off, laying off, laying off. But no, they're hiring people too. What they're probably doing, again, uh, they're changing the mixture of what their jobs are, right? Who those employees are. Have we heard where a lot where those layoffs have come from in Amazon, right? Do articles talk about that? This last article didn't talk about that, right? Or the article regarding Amazon trials for robots, right? They didn't talk about that, uh, and they, I imagine most articles will leave that out. Will leave that out. So we have here Honolulu, Hawaii. Nice place. Should go visit there sometime. Anyway, Amazon is revealing details of its much anticipated expansion plans in Hawaii, saying that it plans to hire hundreds of people for a new facility in Sand Island. Consumers and local retailers alike are excited about the retailer's plans, which include the opening of a new 3-story distribution facility on Aiki Street. Amazon purchased a 15-acre lot in 2020, which means they're going to be there a while. If they own the land, they're going to be there for a while. Packages will fly in. They'll get trucked via our truck to the facility at Sand Island roughly overnight. And then 10 o'clock in the morning, you'll start to see packages coming out of the facility, said Stephen Monduli Williams, Senior Economic Development Manager at Amazon. Article continues. Amazon executives told members of the Retail Merchants of Hawaii at their annual meeting in Waikiki, very nice place, been there, that 900 people already work for the company in Hawaii. All right, so they're gonna expand from 900 to 1400, if I got my math correct. Um, so the article says once the new Sand Island facility opens in April, it'll employ up to 500 additional people. All right, so they're expanding. Some places they're laying people off, in others they're hiring. My suspicion is they laid off a lot of people in HR areas. That's my suspicion. Now, there might have been people and there might have been engineers that were laid off, but I suspect in that situation as well, those were products that the company ended and chose not to move those people over to another product for whatever reason. For whatever reason, they did that. Again, as a company, they will make decisions that's best for the company, right? They will make decisions that's best for you. They'll make the decisions that's best for the company. So investing your time in an education for in engineering is worthwhile, because even if the day comes and unfortunately you get let go, right? That was the uh, that was the motivation behind the article from Monday's podcast. Was, remember, she was let go, and but because she had that industry experience and because she had that computer science degree, she was now extremely employable in the marketplace. And like the article said, she found the job, right? So I believe, at least I believe that's what the article said, she found the job. And if she hadn't already, she was going to very quickly. So when you can't control the type of decisions companies are going to make, but you can control how you respond to that, and you can control your preparation. In other words, going to school, getting the type of degree that the market demands. Again, that would be computer science, computer engineering, electrical engineering, software engineering, IT, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. The list goes on. Well, there's a few more. So the article says executives say customers won't necessarily see more bulky items shipped to Hawaii. What you'll probably see, and they quote, the quote is, "What you'll probably see is a great selection of things that you are already receiving, and you most certainly should get them faster," said Maduli Williams. There are concerns and questions about Amazon entering the Hawaii market, but Tina Yamaki, Retail Merchants of Hawaii president, says big business and small business can work together. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we see that in the Amazon market. When you go online and you buy a textbook for class, you don't have to pay a full price. You can get a used book for fairly cheap, right? You're going to get that from some third party. It could be a bookstore, it might be another student selling it, or it might be somebody else, right? But either way, that allows you to buy the books you need for class at a cheaper price. Amazon doesn't want to put those people out of business. Amazon wants those people, those businesses, to do business in its market. That's what it wants. And by the way, that market where you go on and buy your stuff, that's supported by AWS because that's on the cloud. And who develops the cloud? Software engineers. Who processes the data? Data scientists. So everything going on behind, everything that's supporting the ability for you to be able to buy a book from somebody in Hawaii. Let's say you're in Florida and you buy a book and it's sent from Hawaii. Uh, that process that takes place online, that's all supported by software engineering and infrastructure. And then out someplace in the globe, there's a data center. And those engineers, those administrators, they're taking care of the hardware where all that software is housed. So there's a lot of technology involved in this. There's a lot of opportunity for good jobs. All right. So here's the article continues with a quote. "You can shop at 3 o'clock in the morning eating Cheetos in your pajamas." I don't know. I mean, I guess you could do that. Maybe watch sci-fi at the same time. And no one is going to judge you. But Amazon does have programs that will help our local retailers, said Yamaki. Jimmy, we'll just say Jimmy. I'm going to butcher his name. Jimmy Tokioka, director of Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, said Amazon's expansion must be accompanied by a local message. Yeah, the local message is they're going to hire people locally. That's what they're going to do. That's an Amazon. Amazon likes hiring local people. They do. So that's what's going to happen. The local message is they're going to employ local people. Local people are going to make a paycheck because Amazon's going to pay you. Their money's good, and then those people will be able to go out, use their money in the local market, and then because there's money in the market, because Amazon's there. A lot of small businesses that otherwise wouldn't have existed, they're going to pop up. Why? Because that money's there and they want that money. Again, everyone wins. Amazon makes the world a better place. Now, I'm not saying Amazon doesn't have its faults, but overall, it's a plus, not a minus. And by the way, uh, I don't work for Amazon. I call balls and strikes. That's what I do. My job as an engineer out in industry is to call balls and strikes. Take in the data and figure out what's optimal, what works best. Right. And I throw the rest away because it's useless for me. The way I see this is Amazon is a net positive. It's not perfect, but there's no such thing as perfect. That's not a thing. All right. So we'll end the article here. Quote, Amazon is going to be a part of this local community, and it's important that we support local businesses as well. Yes, that's right. Company officials also stressed working with local businesses. Yes, Amazon will do that. Who's going to deliver those packages once it gets passed off from Amazon? Local businesses. And here's a quote here. In Hawaii, we have 1,200 sellers today, but we feel there's a lot more work that we can do here on the islands, said Bobby, company sales manager at Amazon, or Bobby Cole. The company will also partner with 6 to 8 entrepreneurs that can deliver their product. See, there you go. What did I just say? Somebody on the island is going to deliver those packages, and what's Amazon doing? They're going to work with local entrepreneurs to deliver those packages. It's exactly what I said, right? And earlier, if you rewind this a couple minutes, it's exactly what I said. Amazon's going to do that. Amazon comes in. They not only hire local people, but then small businesses can start up, expand, and do pretty well. All right. Last sentence here. To facilitate that, Amazon will have a sellers training event next month, hiring events early next year, and expects to open its Sand Island Center in April. All right. So I've kind of given you I've given you some positive stuff. How about some bad news? Amazon CEO says layoffs will continue with 18,000 employees. What? But EngineerIDE, you just told me. Yes, I told you they were hiring lots of people, but I also said they're laying off a lot of people too. Again, Amazon is shifting its body weight in the market. It's shifting the type of employees that it has. Let's see. This is from Data Economy. It's kind of a cool name. Instead of economy, it's Data Economy. So it says here, unfortunately, it took only 5 days after the end of 2022 for Amazon layoffs 2023 headline to surface. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on this page. We already know that great tech expansion took a hammering with a layoff spree in 2022, and it seems like tech layoffs will continue in 2023. All right. When they say tech layoffs, what do you think they mean? When I hear that, I think, oh, you mean tech layoffs, so they're going to lay off people in tech. Well, Amazon's a tech company and they're laying people off, but that doesn't mean they're laying off tech people. That's not what that means. So it's interesting the language they use. Article continues. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy has stated that cooperation will reduce its workforce as the global economic outlook worsens. Here's a quote by CEO Andy Jassy, Amazon CEO. Today, I wanted to share the outcome of these further reviews, which is a difficult decision to eliminate additional roles. Between the reductions we made in November and the ones we're sharing today, we plan to eliminate just over 18,000 roles. Okay. This article should tell me what those roles are. It should tell me. Amazon. Okay, so we'll continue. Amazon layoffs. What is going on? Amazon's layoffs of 18,000 workers are the biggest in the history of the technology sector, which has been actively shrinking since last year. Yeah, because it's a company of 1.5 million people, was 1.6 million people. I'll show you the graph here in a second. CEO Andy Jassy explained the layoffs in a blog post, blaming the unstable economy and the rapid growth of the company over the past few years. Wage workers in the warehouse will be spared from layoffs. The company's focus will be on its administrative staff. I'm going to read that again because I said that on Monday and I said this today. They're laying off people in HR. The company's focus will be on its administrative staff. Right. It says here, wage workers in the warehouse will be spared from layoffs. The company's focus will be its administrative staff. All right. Let's keep that. Let's keep that in mind. Affected employees will begin receiving notices from the corporation starting on January 18th. All right. So this is earlier this year. According to Jassy, Amazon's long-term prospects would improve as a result of the layoffs because of the company's improved ability to control expenses. He acknowledged that the layoffs were a tough decision and said, "We don't take these decisions lightly or underestimate how they could affect the lives of individuals who are impacted." Yes, it sucks. I'm not going to make light of people getting laid off. I don't wish that on anyone. I'm not here to do that. I'm simply just here to uh, let young students know, students who are early on, students who are thinking about getting engineering, even adults, veterans who are interested in getting going to school to get in engineering. I'm just here to provide you with a perspective uh, from an industry engineer, somebody who's walked the walk, who's gone through the entire process from community college all the way out to industry as that holds the title of engineer with an engineering degree. So again, that's my focus. My focus isn't to make fun of these people or anything like that. I'm just giving you, comparing things here, giving you the perspective, giving you the lay of the land, so to speak. All right, so let's continue. In the early stages of the pandemic, Amazon's sales skyrocketed as people flocked to the website to stock up on necessities. However, this year, the business is seeing a decline in demand due to rising prices and a return to in-store purchases. Okay. It says here, Amazon layoffs 2023 explained. Oh, what's going on here? I'm trying to, this webpage is bouncing all over, isn't it? What is the Amazon employee count that 18,000 people can be fired? All right, so that must not be a part of the. When they put a lot of stuff, you might agree with me on this. As an aside, when they put a lot of stuff into the web page, like you have all these advertisements, all these things going on, things popping up, things disappearing. It makes it a bit difficult to read and scroll through and a bit jarring. You might agree with that. You might not. But as somebody who's reading this to you, the person who's listening and who's trying not to scroll up and down too much and make it too shaky, it's a bit concerning. So anyway, we'll continue here. Jassy tried, and by the way, I haven't read these articles before. This is the first time I'm reading because it's better for me interacting with the article and then interacting with you. Things just kind of pop into my head. So instead of me trying to read through it and figure out what I'm going to say, nah, this is more organic, more me. I think this is an optimal approach. You let me know in the comments below. All right. So Jassy tried to put, the article continues, Jassy, he's the CEO of Amazon, tried to put a positive spin on the large layoffs in a blog post announcing them by saying Amazon was weathered by uncertain and difficult economies in the past, and we will continue to do so. In extended trading, its shares gained 2% after the layoffs news. Yeah. So, all right. So inflation at a 40-year high and a global pandemic both contributed to a slowdown in sales last year, and Amazon was just the latest big tech business to feel the effects. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was not easy, right? A lot of companies, felt that. I mean, obviously everyone felt that. Everyone felt that. And if you had less money and were less stable, you felt it more than everyone else. So we'll continue here. The article in November, Jassy predicted, and this is November 2022 because this article was written earlier this year. In November of 2022, I'll insert that there. Jassy predicted that layoffs at the e-commerce titan will continue through early 2023. Several media publications claimed last October that Amazon was planning to lay off about 10,000 workers. As consumers revert to their behaviors from before the epidemic and the macroeconomy worsens, many of these previously unstoppable tech companies are now suffering from whiplash and laying off thousands of staff. I don't know if I would call it whiplash. That's hyperbole. So, all right, we'll continue here. Amazon will still be paying severance and is required by law to provide certain notices regarding major layoffs. Yeah, for sure. All right, so yeah, so that's the article. All right, so it says here with over 1.5 million employees, including warehouse workers, Amazon is the second largest private employer in the United States after Walmart. Biggest tech layoffs in 2022. Major layoffs have been reported by Facebook owner Meta, Twitter, Snap, and others in recent months. A surprising reversal for a sector that had witnessed huge growth for more than a decade. Well, that's how markets work. Since it's impossible to control a market, the markets are derived of lots and lots and lots of people doing their own thing, and that's what creates a market. And so, depending on what happens in the market, sometimes markets will go down, sometimes markets will go up. But even large companies have to respond to downturns in the market. Uh, I mean, they all do that. It doesn't mean they're going to go out of business. Everyone will rebound, and these companies will start to increase in size again. And by the way, Amazon, like I said, Amazon in the beginning started off as an online bookstore. Now it's this thing. Facebook started up, well, obviously started as Facebook. If you know the story behind Facebook, Mark developed Facebook so he can meet girls at school. That's why he developed Facebook. And now Facebook has become Meta, and they're working on technology that's probably going to change the world. So now their business model has changed. It's become something else. Twitter is now X. Elon wants X to become the everything app. Right. Amazon is the everything store. So these companies change based off the markets. All right, so we got some numbers here. Meta lays off 11,000, Snap 6,000. I don't know what Getir is. Twitter 3,700. I think it's more than that. ByteDance 3,600. And so they kind of go through the numbers here. And all right, so I want to show you this these last couple things here. Number of Amazon.com employees from 2007 to 2022. All right. So we start off here in 2007. This is by Statista. It's a good website. Statista. So at Amazon in 2007, 17,000 employees. 2015, 230,800 employees. 2021, 1.6 million employees. And they dropped to 1.5 million employees. So yeah, they dropped, but if you look at the graph, it's going up and it's just recently dipped. So how much you want to bet it's going to continue to rise? I don't have a down year. Everyone has a down year. Everyone has a down year. People have down years. Baseball teams have down years. Football teams have down years. Some people have a lot of down years, unfortunately. Right, but it's showing you the growth of the company. So obviously they have hired a lot more people than they've laid off. All right, so let's get to what is Amazon doing in the market or globally. So Amazon has these big data centers all over the world. I mean, so they have 1.5 million people, and not all of them work in the United States. Obviously, there's a lot of people working for Amazon all over the country. Right? They have these big data centers. That's ultimately where the software, and of course, you have the software in there. And from this, you get really big companies. Let's see. Using, I think it's on here. I actually did look at this ahead of time. So let's see if they show this. No, they didn't show this. All right. So one company that uses this technology is Netflix. The entire Netflix uh, website is on AWS, the entire thing. So when you're watching your favorite show on Netflix, you're actually watching it through AWS. Right? That's some of the things that are going on Amazon. Amazon is hiring. Hourly opportunities at Amazon. Fulfillment center associate. All right, these are supposed to be the jobs robots are supposed to be uh, replacing. Sortation center associate. Robots supposed to be replacing. Delivery station associate. Maybe not necessarily, but possibly. Excel warehouse associate. Distribution center associate. Grocery warehouse associate. I mean, you kind of get the idea. Oh yeah, Amazon delivery person, right? We all love them, so you kind of get the idea of, yeah, they're hiring, right? They're hiring. Oh, pharmacy. I didn't know that. That's a new thing. Uh, let's see here. Amazon's hiring in engineering and IT, right? This is, I mean, IT is not my thing, but nonetheless, see here, there's look at all these jobs. Oh, I guess there's not that many jobs, but they're hiring, right? And so, and they'll continue to hire based off of their needs. So the point is here is that robots aren't gonna robots aren't gonna take over Amazon. They're not gonna lay everyone off because of robots. Skynet's not gonna attack anytime soon, and so we're okay, we're okay for the moment. Um, the bottom line is that going into an engineering field right now, this is the best time to go into an engineering field. Uh, if you are a student going to community college, I would definitely look at computer science, software engineering, mechanical engineering. If you're going to go into mathematics or physics, look at taking a lot of programming courses, software development courses in addition to that. Because from there, it'd be easy shift into, let's say, data science. You're going to need that. Uh, with all those degrees, you could work for Amazon. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to show you Project Kuiper. So, uh, you've heard of Starlink oh, well, it's just Starlink. That's Elon Musk's company. So they're going to be putting satellites, or they already are putting satellites up in orbit. Well, Project Kuiper is Amazon's response to Starlink. So Project Kuiper, Amazon is currently in the designing process for putting satellites in the low Earth orbit. So that way everyone has access to the internet, of course, so everyone can buy their stuff. I mean, that's probably the reason why they're doing it. And it's just a side effect that people will also have free internet. So now you have multiple companies competing in low Earth orbit for access to customers all over the world. Right. So that's another thing. And by the way, them competing against each other, they're going to have to make a better product. So they're going to be competing against each other for the best product. But what does that do for us? That provides us with a lot of opportunity in the market, a lot of opportunity to pursue these technical jobs. And by the way, and I didn't show this either, Amazon has opportunities where they will send you to school for software development. They also have internally, they have programs where they will teach you mechatronics, which is like a cross between electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and software engineering. Right? You don't even need to have a degree, but your job is, remember I talked about repairing robots and making sure those things are running. Uh, that's what those people are going to be doing. So there's a lot of really cool things right now in the market, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. Yeah, everything's not perfect. Obviously there's issues uh, in the world right now. If you wanna listen to that stuff, there's plenty of stations on YouTube or Rumble to listen to about that. Not going to talk about that here. Here we're just going to talk about the positives, right? And of course I threw a little bit of finance in today's podcast as well to give you a little bit more breadth. But that's all I got for today. Thanks again for joining me. This is Engineer IDE. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Monday, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. All right. Be safe. Take care. And remember, study, study, study.